how hatred can help you find your values, and Fredrick Neiztche's The Will to Power. So, in a nutshell, Fredrick Neiztche's doublespeak nihilism for dummies. Everything he says is doublespeak. The other side of that is The Will to Power's other half, because if you watch my original, What is the Will to Power? It's a bunch of mental disorders. But, you see, in Fredrick Neiztche's world, you throw out your morals, your values, your sympathy and empathy, your connections with everybody else, you are alone. You're a loner, okay? And then you don't want to be alone. You want this contradiction to make sense, which doesn't make sense. And the only thing you have left in this darkness is the will to power. The need to grab power. The need to grab power. And I was thinking about this in regards to all the heavy metal shit. They took my sympathy, my empathy, my morals, my values, everything from me through heavy metal poisoning. And then they're like, there's only one thing left. The need to grab power. That is it. That is what Fredrick Neiztche's will to power is. It is the need to grab power. Whether you're morally and going to use that power morally or not moral, it's about grabbing the power. That's all. That's all that matters. Fredrick Neiztche's The Will to Power. Thank you, everybody. But I wanted to discuss morals and values, and how do you know if you have them or not? Are you an angry high schooler? Have you ever been mad at something but not sure why you're mad? The first thing you need to discover, the first thing you need to accept is everybody gets jealous. It's normal. And if you're actually jealous, or do you actually hate that person? And what is it about that person you hate? If you look at my story, Stu Amoral did a bunch of horrible, horrible shit, but he failed every step of the way. That is why I don't consider Stu Amoral a priority of evil. I do consider Danielle McGinnis a priority and a pure form of evil because he successfully manipulated me. And he did it through destroying my brain with heavy metals, which is something I morally would never do to somebody, because it's exceptionally fucked up, and it is not good for them. See, when Danielle McGinnis screams, it's good, what he means to say is, he's gonna get his way. This is what it is. The more you destroy this individual's brain with heavy metals, the more of his way he's gonna get, because that person has become stupid, and it's their fault, because he doesn't have any agency in anything. The only thing he cares about is power. This is why instead of turning himself in, he ran to a seat of power, because he's a coward, and that is his blood and nature. He's not going to surrender, because he is a coward. And I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about that. This is just the truth about your leader you worship. Remember, Stu's fucking reaction to when Elite Mummy God said he was going to kill him. He shit himself, he started crying on the phone and begging for his life. That is because your church leader isn't the unstoppable force his facade shows. He's actually a scared child. I think we all might be, because if you traumatize somebody and then poison them with heavy metals, you actually emotionally stunt them and they become stuck in that state. Yeah. So, I hate Danielle McGinnis because he manipulated me, but I've always hated manipulation because my father and mother did this to me as a kid. I could not stand them. They would go, what about the way I feel? What about me? What about... And every fucking time you're talking to a little kid and you're trying to get something from a little kid through emotionally manipulating them or controlling them. My father did this my entire life growing up, and my mother did the same thing. So I hate Danielle McGinnis because he successfully manipulated me. And then when I told him to stop, he insisted on manipulating me. Told him not to make me hate him. What did he do? I'm going to manipulate you through your hatred. I don't hate him because he manipulated me through my hatred. I hate him because he manipulated me. And he didn't stop when I told him. And not only that, he made me incredibly stupid and then began manipulating me, which pisses me off even more. Okay. And we're going to talk about this because what did Anal Eating Mummy God do? He also manipulated me. He told me he'd give me $1 million. He didn't tell me he was going to poison me with heavy metals more because I'd already been poisoned with fucking heavy metals forever at this point. And then he did it some more because, well, if it doesn't work the first time, just keep doing it, as we know is the definition of insanity. And yeah, it eventually would work because eventually I'd have too much heavy metals in my system to even function, which is the plan. That is the plan. Okay, it was an inevitability, not an accident, is my point. And you go, okay, like, why bring up the president of the church again? Well, let's talk about it. He manipulated me, and then I didn't trust him. And we had this discussion. Me, the president of the church, and Blondie. Good old Daniel McGinnis. We had this conversation. And he said, what if I manipulate you into doing something good? That's good, right? And I said, no, that's bad. And he said, why? Because I told him I might forever resent you and feel the need to teach you a fucking lesson about manipulating me. And the president didn't like that. Danielle McGinnis didn't like that. And I told him, when you manipulate people, you create distrust. This happened with my cuddle buddy. She began lying to me and fucking with me nonstop until I kicked her the fuck out of my life because I could not stand her. Because she made herself insufferable through her constant manipulation and constant fucking lying. And this makes me not trust you. And this came up with the president because he's used to everybody just trusting him. And then he did something that made me not trust him. I.e., he poisoned me with heavy metals. And this is the same shit with Danielle McGinnis. Just trust me, all I did was a bunch of horrible shit. Integrity. Integrity. What does that look like? Well, no, because it's not integrity. Integrity is another facade that every member of this church carries with them. It's the will to power. It's power grabbing. It's all about grabbing the power. That is the whole idea. When I talked to Daniel McGinnis, he was basically, and this is a thing with the ultra rich and why you will never be a super successful rich person. You're either fucking or getting fucked. This is the metric for capitalism. If you want to be a successful capitalist, you need to understand you need to be fucking as many people over as you can. Look at the president of this church. He's got billions of dollars and he fucks over everybody in his church. They're all fucking cannon fodder and they're too stupid to understand that. And if you try to explain it to them, they get mad at you for telling them the truth. They don't want to hear the truth. They want to be lied to. The lies are sweet. They taste like lead. They're sweet like lead. And they go into the brain and cause the brain fog, just like lead. It is a weird irony that is a part of this entire situation. But it's tragic truth. So I got into this discussion with these idiots, and they were like, manipulation is good, manipulation, and I was like, it's bad. I was like, the only thing you do when you manipulate, even if it's for good reasons, is create distrust. Because ultimately, you are probably manipulating somebody to work against their values. Same way everybody in this church works against their own interests, okay? They're all slaves, and they believe they're the superior beings because they're told they're superior beings, but they still have to take it in the ass mentally, emotionally, and spiritually by the church leader. They are the furthest things from free they could ever be, but they believe they're in control, and that's the funny part, okay? Once again, 1984. Everything these people say is backwards. Everything. You can't trust a goddamn word these people say. And I brought this up to Anal Eaton Mummy God, and it made him a little crazy. He did not like my take on manipulation and distrust and why you shouldn't fucking... Another thing was straight talking. I told him, I was like, every time I talk to you guys, it's this guy, this person, this thing. And I was just like, you guys are so non-committal to everything you do, it's amazing you can even get women. Okay? Because holy shit, are you non-committal in everything you do. Alright? And... this kind of thing kept happening with these people. Because they're not human beings to begin with. They're fucking mindless tools that just grab for power. And the only thing they care is doing things from a point of leverage. Authoritarianism, which is something I hate. My problem with every filthy, disgusting Christian I ever met is everything they do is from a point of authority. And then when they realize you're gonna come for power, they get absolutely terrified that you're going to use that power to oppress them the same way they oppressed you. And this results in the heavy metal poisoning, the assault, the rape, the threats, everything these disgusting people do. And it's like everything in their body to just do the wrong thing in every situation and then just like, oh, I hope the church protects me so I don't get fucking killed. Like, okay. Like, why do that to begin with? Did you actually benefit from being a dick? No, but it did make you feel superior. Which brings me to my next point, the delusion of superiority and the ego inflation that Carl Jung diagnosed Fredrick Neiztche with, which Fredrick Neiztche was 100% ego, and that is where the will to power comes from. He doesn't care about responsibility, he doesn't care about accountability, he just wants power. It doesn't matter. And it's funny as shit that the cinema guys were like, oh, Bobby just wants power so he can get back at Danielle. And Danielle's the innocent victim in this. When Danielle poisoned me with mercury, altered my psychology, made me psychotic, it made me fucking hate him. And then when he got everything he wanted, he immediately was like, no, this isn't what I wanted. I would sit with Danielle and ask him exactly what is it you're trying to get. And I guarantee you, he couldn't explain it to you. The only thing he knows is he's an angry child, and he's causing as much pain and chaos as he can, because he's decided he doesn't like me. And that was the, possibly the beginning, end, and middle goal of this entire situation. Yup. I said it. And that's what I firmly believe this entire situation is about. 100%. And maybe the other side of it is it is so chaotic because he's both the devil and God, and his devil side wants to kill me, and his God side kind of wants to do the right thing, but not really. And I would argue that, once again, the God side is 200% the facade of these people. It is 200% the fake. The people who worship God in this church are 1,000,000% the facade, because they're like, oh, these guys are really good, but then the devil worshipping guys are snatching kids up off the street, killing and eating them, murdering women, and just doing all the disgusting things. They're literal fucking cannibals, and they're worshiping the fucking devil. So when you talk about God, they don't fucking care, because they're busy worshiping the goddamn devil. Like, dude, any rational country would just ban these people outright. As soon as they started talking, you'd just be like, get out of my country. I don't want you here. But yeah. So, when you feel angry about something, it's normally, for me, in particular, it's an injustice. And I think about the aspect of manipulation and control and how angry I fucking get about it, and how much distrust it sows into my brain and body. It is just fucking psychotic. And with Stu, it was funny. It was funny because Stu failed. And he failed again and again to successfully manipulate me. And there were partial successes. He did manage to destroy my brain. The heavy metal poisoning is 200% a guaranteed win for these people. They're going to win by poisoning you with heavy metals every fucking time. Okay, it doesn't matter if you beat them, because it's a Picarian victory, because you're going to be retarded if you win. Okay, that is the punishment for taking on these people, and this is the thing with malignant narcissists. If you're nice to them, they hurt you. If you're mean to them, they hurt you. They have no ability to self-regulate. They're like your cat. You're petting your cat and it up and claws you. Why? You're being nice to it. It's attacking you, because that is the brain of a malignant narcissist. They cannot help themselves. They're going to hurt you no matter what, and they need you to believe life is suffering so they can cause pain and just put oh, that's how it is, that's how it is, I don't know, like, and you're just like, you did that, and they're like, no, I didn't. Victim, I'm the victim, and remember, I'm also the devil, and I'm also the God, and sometimes I get possessed by demons. And you're like, you have no agency. Yeah, I have no agency. And you're like, who the fuck would play into that to begin with? Stupid people. That's who. Stupid people. Stupid people that believe LSD trips are somehow enlightening and you're seeing God, when actuality, you're just being high on drugs. I haven't talked about it yet, but one of the things I remembered recently was I went to this other religious group that was eating babies, and they told me to go meet this guy named Moloch. And I did meet Moloch. But he was from Mortal Kombat, Deadly Alliance, Moloch. Big blue guy with a giant fucking rock in his hand. He was like their version of the devil. And I met a video game character. Because that's how stupid using LSD to go meet your imaginary gods is. But you're not going to explain that to anybody. They're not going to understand it. If they're emotionally stunted, it is about how they feel. It is not about what it is. Okay, if you're high on drugs, you're high on drugs. That's what that is. This was a fun rant. I remember Annalene Mummy God tried to explain to me the will to power isn't about just grabbing power. And we got into a fight. And I don't... dude, either these people are so stupid they don't understand what Fredrick Neiztche is. Okay? Or the malicious side of it, they don't want other people to know what Fredrick Neiztche is. Fredrick Neiztche is doublespeak nihilism for dummies, and he argues you need to throw everything out and then go, what remains? The answer is power. And then you have to have the will to grab that power. That is what it's about. Okay. And Annalene Mummy God was trying to explain to me, no, there's a lots of other things in there. There's a bunch of other nuanced things. Things people don't talk about. Oh, breathtaking words. It's toxic. Okay. Because look at the cinema guys and how they reacted to me. Okay. You're Titan. You just want to grab power so you can get the girl. You're totally fucking crazy. I want to kill Danielle McGinnis because he did the thing I absolutely hate, which is manipulation. You shouldn't have been manipulating me to begin with. You should have sat down like an adult in a rational, intelligent voice, and we should have talked out what happened. But instead, Danielle was like, I'm going to make everything your fault. I'm going to blame you, and I'm going to use tricks and lies, and I'm just going to panic and throw everything at you, and everything's going to be your fault, and everything's going to go bad, and also, you're retarded on heavy metals, so you're not going to be able to make good decisions. And it's going to be your fault because you're retarded on heavy metals. Ha ha ha! I'm going to get away with it. It's the perfect crime. When I spoke to Danielle McGinnis, he set up some kind of weird, crazy lawsuit against a guy that had dementia. And he forced the guy to represent himself. And then that guy won the lawsuit. And then Danielle McGinnis was like, look, he had dementia. He was mentally unhinged. He was very unwell. And he represented himself and he won. Isn't that amazing? I was like, no, it's fucking horrible. That guy's not fucking mentally sane. Like, why the fuck were they taking his money from him to begin with? Maybe there was a legitimate reason. And Danielle was like, no, there wasn't. It's his money and his power. They don't get to take it from him. And he got all crazy about it. Because Danielle doesn't care. You see, this is the thing when you don't have agency or responsibility in your life. He doesn't care if he goes demented and then just starts getting everybody else killed. Okay? Because, well, he's the victim in that. And he was explaining to me that this guy with Alzheimer's is the victim in this. And if they take the money and power from him, he has Alzheimer's. He could do something incredibly stupid with that money. Okay? He could get other people killed with that power. Okay? This is my point. Okay? And this, I guess, was all leading up into this, where Danielle was like, I know you're going to be completely mentally unwell because we did that to you. But you're just going to have to move through it and go to court and do all the things with a damaged brain. And I'm a guy that values intelligence. And he's telling me, no intelligence. No, I hate that. I hate intelligence. Like, this entire situation is more of an asshole trying to force their values not just onto you but literally into your brain surreptitiously through manipulation after subtle manipulation, through destroying your brain with heavy metals, doing all the wrong things, and then at the end of it, after they did all the wrong things, going, trust me. What? Oh, Danielle, I don't trust you. I really don't. And I didn't trust Annalene Mummy God, and I barely trust the American court system for that matter. Okay? I'm a guy that got fucked over by everybody, and everybody just keeps going, okay, it doesn't matter how many times you get fucked over, just trust me. Like, no. At what point do you take accountability and responsibility for your actions and demonstrate that you are an adult, that you are a man, that you... Dude, the crazy shit with these people is they think like 2-year-olds and they want to have sex with everybody. But if it was me, if I was a woman, I'd be like, no, man, you're too emotionally immature. I don't want you around me. When I have sex with you, you make me think I'm fucking a child. That makes me feel like a pedophile. So you need to go away and you need to go grow up. And I just pictured Danielle. No. Like, this is my point about this. It bothers me to no end that these people just did everything I hate. And then we're like, I'm going to make you resent and hate me. Also, trust me. Like, I'm not interested in this retardedness. Once again, I value straight talkers. And honestly, we and you are never going to see eye to eye because you just bullshit. And then you're like, you figure it out. How about no?